men, if any men listen to this, women want to, not us to be, responsive. They don't want us to say anything. They want us to be quiet while they drag us through social media, while they drag us through life, and we just sit back and be quiet, because when we speak, it's us acting like a female. You know what? I'm all male. I'm all man. But I tell you what, I'm going to speak. I'm going to defend myself, and I'm going to let the truth be told. I don't care if any of y'all, I don't care about y'all being on my side.
You won't believe what just came out. Martell Holt is in full-blown panic mode, and honestly, it's not hard to see why. Arionne Curry, the woman at the center of the long-brewing storm, has finally broken her silence, and when we say she dropped bombs, we're talking thermonuclear truths that could shatter Martell's carefully crafted image into a million little pieces. For years, people have speculated, whispered, and guessed about the real nature of their entanglement, the pain behind closed doors, and the damage left in the wake of their decisions. But now, Arionne has decided she's done staying quiet. She's done letting others control her narrative. And the details she's revealing.
February 12th, 2022. Hey girl, you been okay? Haven't talked. This is her writing me. I posted this. I restocked this dress. I posted that. So, this is her message to me. I wish y'all could see this better. Dang. Hey girl, you been okay? Haven't talked to you in a while. I know sometimes people need space, but just making sure okay. Making sure you're okay.
They're shocking, raw, and absolutely impossible to ignore. Before we dive in, because you're going to want every single piece of this jaw-dropping story, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss any of the explosive updates we've got coming your way. Trust me, if you thought the drama was wild before, you haven't seen anything yet. This is the kind of deep tea that rewrites everything you thought you knew. So grab your snacks, settle in, and let's unpack the entire unfiltered truth that Arionne has just exposed, because Martell Holt's world may never be the same again. From the beginning, Martell Holt was painted as the charming, ambitious, yet flawed reality TV husband on Love and Marriage, Huntsville. He had the looks, the confidence, and the narrative that many fans initially bought into, a man trying to balance family, business, and personal growth. But the cracks in that facade didn't take long to show. Behind the scenes, trouble had been simmering for years. Fans watched as Martell's marriage to Melody Holt unraveled in real time, each episode peeling back another layer of dysfunction, betrayal, and dishonesty. What the cameras didn't always capture, however, was the growing influence of one woman, in particular Arionne Curry. Arionne was never just some side character. She wasn't a name to be brushed off or a footnote in Martell's story. For nearly a decade, she was a central figure in his life, entangled with him in a relationship that defied labels and wrecked more than just reputations. And yet, for all that time, Arionne remained largely silent. Vilified by many, dismissed by others, she became a symbol of scandal without ever truly telling her side of the story. That silence ended recently, and what she had to say changed everything. Arionne's revelations didn't come as cryptic Instagram posts or vague interviews. No, she came with receipts, timelines, emotional truths, and brutal honesty. She detailed how their relationship began not as a calculated attempt to break up a marriage, but as something that grew in complexity over time. She painted a picture of a man who was manipulative, deeply insecure, and skilled at playing both sides. Martell, according to her, knew exactly how to present himself as the victim of a loveless marriage while simultaneously keeping Arionne emotionally invested in a relationship that was always on his terms. One of the most shocking revelations came when Arionne spoke about the emotional manipulation she endured. She explained how Martell would use guilt, charm, and promises to keep her tethered to him. Even as he returned home to Melody with a smile on his face and lies on his lips, Arionne claimed that there were moments she tried to walk away. She recognized the damage being done, but each time, Martell pulled her back in. He made her believe they had a future. He made her believe she was more than just a hidden chapter in his life story. But when the cameras rolled, he painted her as a regret, a mistake, something that just happened. The hypocrisy didn't stop there. Arionne alleges that Martell would frequently talk badly about Melody to her, painting her as cold, detached, and unwilling to support him emotionally. But publicly, he would praise his ex-wife as a strong woman, a great mother, and a partner who deserved better. Arionne's account suggests that Martell was never truly committed to either woman in a genuine sense. He was committed to his ego. to being needed, to having someone on either side who would make him feel important, admired, and in control. And perhaps one of the most heartbreaking parts of Arionne's story is the toll it took on her mental health, being labeled the side chick by millions of viewers, being attacked online, threatened, and degraded, all while carrying the emotional burden of a man who refused to stand up for her, left scars that don't fade easily. She admits to struggling with depression, isolation, and a deep sense of betrayal, not just by Martell, but by the world that judged her without knowing the full truth. But here's the kicker. Arionne claims that Martell never truly wanted to let her go. Even after everything came out, even after the divorce, the media circus, and the public backlash, he continued reaching out to her. Late-night calls, cryptic texts, attempts to keep that emotional door cracked open. She believes Martell wasn't perhaps still as terrified of being alone, of not having someone to validate his version of events. And now that she's finally stepping forward and refusing to be silent any longer, Martell's world is shaking. Fans of Love and Marriage, Huntsville have long debated how much of the drama was real and how much was manufactured for ratings. But Arionne's version of events suggests that the truth was always messier, more painful, and more real than anyone could have imagined. She speaks about the way producers tried to shape the narrative, how Martell would prep her on what to say or not say, how she was offered roles on the show but declined because she didn't want to be exploited or used as a pawn in someone else's redemption arc. She didn't want to be the villain in someone else's storyline when her reality was far more complex. And let's talk about the kids. Arionne has a child with Martell, and that child, through no fault of their own, has been thrust into a public spectacle. Arionne has expressed deep concern about how her child will grow up with the weight of this narrative around them. She's spoken candidly about wanting to protect their innocence, to shield them from the toxicity that has consumed the adults in this situation. Martell, she says, has not done nearly enough to prioritize that. His decisions, public and private, have often reflected a man more concerned with image than impact. There's also the financial aspect. Arionne revealed that Martell made several promises about supporting her and their child. But those promises were often inconsistent, conditional, or simply unfulfilled. She described the stress of trying to maintain stability while being dragged in the media, unable to move forward because her name was always tied to a scandal. And now that she's speaking out, she's not looking for sympathy, she's demanding accountability. You might wonder, why now? Why is Arionne coming forward at this moment, after all these years? According to her, it's not about revenge. It's not about clout. It's about reclaiming her story, her voice, and her peace. She's tired of being misrepresented. She's tired of Martell playing the victim while privately sowing chaos. And most of all, she's tired of letting fear dictate her choices. For Arionne, speaking the truth is not just about exposing Martell, it's about freeing herself. And Martell, according to sources close to him, he's scrambling. He's reportedly furious that Arionne is talking. He's worried about how this could affect potential business deals, brand endorsements, and even his standing with the show. More than that, he's terrified that the polished image he's worked so hard to preserve is finally crumbling in the face of inconvenient truths. The panic is real. The consequences are looming, but what happens next? Will Arionne's revelations spark a deeper investigation into Martell's behavior on and off camera? Will fans rally around her? Or will she continue to face backlash for telling her side? And most importantly, what lessons are we willing to learn from this? Because at the heart of this story is not just gossip. It's about emotional abuse, manipulation, the weaponization of charm, and the way women, especially Black women, are often silenced, judged, or erased from their own stories. Arionne is not perfect, she admits that, but she's also not the caricature that Martell and the media tried to make her out to be.